1994 was certainly a year to remember. The People's Republic of China got its first connection to the internet, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon, and the Magic School Bus debuted on PBS. More importantly, it was a pivotal year for Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani was born, all players went on strike that lasted 232 days, and the youngest divisions in the league were formed, the National League Central and the American League Central, the weakest division in all of Major League Baseball. Picking up the first iteration of the division was the Cleveland team and Milwaukee Brewers, who joined from the American League East, and the Kansas City Royals, Chicago White Sox, and the Minnesota Twins joining from the American League West. The makeup of the league again changed in 1998 when MLB expanded to 30 teams, welcoming the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and Arizona Diamondbacks. This caused shifting within divisions again, where we saw the Detroit Tigers replace Milwaukee, who left to join the National League Central. In the first season of play for the AL Central, which was halted on August 12, 1994, the division led MLB in average win percentage, which is something it did again in 1996 and not a single time since. In the 30 years since the division's creation, the AL Central has the lowest combined average win percentage, being just one of 2 divisions below 500. Only 8 of the division's 30 seasons had an average win percentage above 500, the lowest total of any division over that span. They also produced the fewest World Series champions in that time frame, having only 2. These victories came from the Chicago White Sox in 2005 and the Kansas City Royals in 2015. In contrast, the AL East leads all divisions with 9 titles. The AL Central struggles are not just historical, as more recent years show an even more dismal trend. The only combined above 500 season for the division since the Royals' 2015 World Series win came during the pandemic-shortened 60-game 2020 season. Even worse, the division has been rock bottom in the league for 3 of the last 6 years. Competitive balance between divisions is always shifting back and forth, but why does this particular shift seem to be holding? The American League Central has the second smallest combined market size, coming in just ahead of its National League counterpart. This data can be found within MLB's collective bargaining agreement for 2022 to 2026, which gives each team a revenue-sharing market score. How do they use that score? Well, clubs with a market score greater than 100 are fully disqualified from receiving revenue sharing, except for the Oakland A's, who are 75% disqualified in 22, 50% in 23, 25% in 24, and are fully eligible again in 25. How this market score is calculated is not shared, but is assumed to be some conglomeration of metro area wealth, population, and television network range. With the exception of the currently abysmal Chicago White Sox, all of the teams in the AL Central rake inside the bottom half of the league, with the Twins in 17th, Tigers in 20th, Cleveland in 25th, and the Royals in 28th. It's easy to see why the Central divisions fall behind the others, as the others are all at least 100 points higher in combined market score. This disparity in market size shows itself most notably in the comparative lack of spending between all of the divisions. Out of the 30 seasons the division has existed, the AL Central has had the lowest combined spending in the league for 12 of them, a trend that appears to only be getting worse, as they've held the title for lowest combined spending 5 of the last 6 years. We saw the same situation from 1999 to 2005, when the division held that crown for 7 consecutive seasons, 4 of which they were the worst in the league in combined win percentage. The biggest difference between then and now? The spending gap is growing rapidly. In those woefully historic 7 seasons for the AL Central, the division spent an average of just over $98 million less than the other 5 divisions. Since the 2018 season, that average figure has grown to over $193 million, with the current season's difference coming in at a staggering $285 million. This number, as with everything, is amplified by inflation. But that doesn't take away from the fact the difference in spending between the most expensive division, the NL East, and the AL Central is over $406 million. For those of you playing the home game, that means an $80 million difference per team. But this gap goes beyond baseball. Since the creation of the AL Central in 1994, the country has continued to grow. However, the Midwest has fallen behind the coasts and Texas in almost every aspect of number and influence. U.S. Census data from 1990 through 2020 shows that the 2 central divisions saw a decline in combined metropolitan area population, with every one of the NL Central teams witnessing a decline. Despite this, it's the AL Central with the largest combined loss of over 400,000 residents. Why? Deindustrialization, suburbanization, and urban sprawl have destroyed the once prosperous Detroit, which has also happened to Cleveland, and all of the NL Central metropolitan regions on a smaller scale. In fact, Detroit has had such a detrimental decline that the city filed for Chapter 9 bankruptcy in July of 2013. On the contrary, every other division saw population growth of over 1 million residents. There was actually only one team outside of the Central divisions that saw a decline in their metro region population, that being the Baltimore Orioles. While industries, political policies, and prices continue to change, so can the Midwest. But we're not seeing it happen yet. And baseball, as with any major sport, is a part of the fabric of society. Therefore, it's not immune to change during these major shifts in our country as a whole. This begs the question, is there any way to repair the inequities between these regions within baseball? At the moment, it seems doubtful. Some of you may be screaming at this point about salary caps and, look at all the parity in the NFL and NHL. But, A, the MLBPA will fight a salary cap with its dying bloody breath, because, by and large, salary caps reduce wages for all players overall, and B, MLB has not had a repeat World Series champion since the New York Yankees in 2000. In reality, there's quite a bit more parity in Major League Baseball than it may first appear. In the past 30 years, the closest thing to a dynasty is maybe the Boston Red Sox, their run from 2004 to 2018, and the Houston Astros' current run from 2017 to present. The Red Sox have more recently fallen off partly due to a cutback in team payroll spending, but take a look at where the Astros have ranked in spending in their time frame of dominance. Not exactly New York levels of greedy spending, is it? Major League Baseball's expanded playoff format means the regular season means less, and teams no longer need to build 100-win juggernauts for a chance at the World Series title. As some have said, quite infamously now, 87 wins may be enough. This will be especially true when MLB expands the playoffs to half of all teams. This is coming, and though this may be more speculation on my part, I do believe it'll be here before the decade is out. So, the American League Central is undoubtedly the weakest division in Major League Baseball. The only division it will likely even have a chance of consistently outperforming in our lifetime is its National League counterpart. While it's almost impossible to forecast exactly how much more the spending gap will expand, it is clear that it will likely increase exponentially. But if it only takes a barely above 500 team to make the playoffs, how much does it really matter?